परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी। चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी। चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमेश्वरी। मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मय वितरो, मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मय उतरो। जय माँ, जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ, माँ, जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय माँ। कहाँ यहाँ देवों का नंदन, कहाँ यहाँ देवों का नंदन, मलिया चल का अभिनव चंदन। कहाँ यहाँ देवों का नंदन, मलिया चल का अभिनव चंदन। मेरे मन उजड़े वन में करुणामय विचरो, मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मय उतरो, 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 मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मय उतरो।
Jai Sri Krishna. Our namaskarams and a warm welcome to each one of you for coming to this lecture series on Mahabharatam by Pujya Prema Pandurang. We welcome Premaji and her team to Kuwait and are honored to have them here. We thank the first secretary from the Indian Embassy, Sri Alok Kumar, and his wife, Srimati Rashmi Alok Kumar, and Sri Alok Kumar's beloved mother for having accepted our invitation to attend the discourse by Pujya Premaji. To many of us in Kuwait, Pujya Premaji needs no introduction. In fact, the question from a lot of them has always been, when will Premaji come for the next series of lectures? But for those who are new, a small introduction is in order. An excellent orator and an authority on Indian scriptures, Premaji has been mesmerizing the audience all over the world with her astounding spiritual discourses on different subjects like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Ramayana, to name a few. Pujya Premaji, with her in-depth knowledge of these great epics, brings to us in a lucid and so simple a manner that even children enjoy them with pin-drop silence. Added to that is her own wonderful bhajan composition, which is ably supported by a team of musicians and makes it very lively. It is to her credit that on a thematic topic chosen, she is able to precisely and concisely convey all the key elements. The epics are not mere stories, but embedded in them is an immense source of knowledge and wisdom. She has used these great works to give lectures to companies on management to help people with day-to-day problems. Just as Sanjaya in Mahabharata brought the live telecast of the Kurukshetra war to Dhritarashtra, she brings the characters in the epics to life in her talks and keeps us spellbound. Pujya Premaji was a professor of English in the Presidency College in Chennai for over 2 decades and has a very good command over a number of Indian languages, especially Sanskrit, which she calls a language full of life. While one aim of Pujya Premaji is to spread the knowledge of these epics. Her other more important work is a social task she has undertaken through an established charitable trust called Kshetropasana. Set up in Sri Perumbudur in Tamil Nadu with Sri P.R. Krishna Kumar, Managing Director, Aryavedya Pharmacy, Coimbatore, the main objectives of the trust has been to revive and regenerate the values and ideals of Indian culture which are appearing to be forgotten in this modern era. The Trust has been making a multi-pronged effort to achieve this awakening and restoring a society based on dharma and love instead of greed and hate. Amongst the many tasks the Trust has undertaken, a few of them of note are Annadanam, feeding many school-going children in the area, renovation of old and dilapidated temples, Harmony Home to take care of the aged, Goshala to take care of the cows, school to impart education including Vedas, and an Ayurvedic hospital. All these efforts are funded through her lectures and the generous contributions of people who wish to bring about a change in others who are less fortunate. You can get more details from the website kshetropasana.org. With this short introduction, may I now invite the first secretary from the Indian Embassy, Sri Alok Kumar, to come on stage and give the inaugural address. I also call upon Dr. Nambudri to kindly accompany Sri Alok Kumar.
Dear friends, a very warm welcome to Puja Professor Pandurang, Mrs. Rajendran, Dr. Nampuri, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure to welcome Professor Pandurang amongst us, who has, as I understand, come to Kuwait only yesterday. And it's only but appropriate that she has, under the auspices of Nrit Dhyan, which is a society promoting Indian culture and teaching Indian dances to our children. I was fortunate to listen to Professor Pandurang 2 years back when she was here, and I'm looking forward to this evening. In fact, Ambassador Malhotra, he was to be here today amongst us and to welcome Professor Pandurang and to listen to her discourse. But as things are, he was to attend a banquet by the Amir in honor of the Turkish president who has arrived into Kuwait today. So that's why I'm here in his place. In such a gathering, I would think that it's always better to listen than to speak, because on an epic like Mahabharata, I think I will leave the stage to Professor Pandurang, and let's enjoy the evening with her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sri Alok Kumarji and Dr. Nambudri. Just a few pieces of information. We'll begin every evening sharply at around 6:30 and end by 9 p.m. We would like to place our appreciation to all those who have contributed and those who are contributing to meet the daily expenses of organizing this program. Before I hand over the stage to Premaji, I have a couple of small requests to make. Could you be kind enough to turn the mobile phones to silent mode to enjoy an uninterrupted pleasure in listening to Puja Premaji? We are distributing small pamphlets containing some slokas. We would request that these be taken home or just left at the counter so that can be used next day rather than just dropping it on the ground. Thank you.
भीमातीरनिवासाय पंढरीपुरवासिने पाण्डुरङ्गप्रकाशाय विठलाय नमो नमः। मरुत्पुत्राय कवये भीमाय भयहारिणे श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थाय प्रख्याताय नमो नमः। शिवतनयवरिष्ठं सर्वकल्याणमूर्तिं परशुकमलहस्तं शोभितं मोदकेन अरुणकुसुममाला व्याललम्बोदरं तं मम हृदयनिवासं श्रीगणेशं नमामि। कृष्णव्रता कृष्णमनुस्मरन्तः रात्रौ च कृष्णं पुनरुत्थिताये ते कृष्णदेहा प्रविशन्ति कृष्णम्। आज्यं यथा मन्त्रहुतं हुताशे बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनूमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। चित्रैः पदैश्च गम्भीरैः वाक्यमानैरखण्डितैः गुरुभावं व्यञ्जयन्ति भाति श्रीजयतीर्थवाक् प्रणमत्कामधेनुं च भजत्सुरतरूपमं श्रीभावबोधकृत्पाद चिन्तामणिमुपास्महे। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे। अन्नपूर्णे सदा पूर्णे शङ्करप्राणवल्लभे ज्ञानवैराग्यसिद्ध्यर्थं भिक्षां देहि च पार्वती। हयग्रीव हयग्रीव हयग्रीवेति यो वदेत् तस्य निस्सरते वाणी जन्नुकन्याप्रवाहवत्। राकाचन्द्रसमानकान्तिवदना नाकाधीराजस्तुता मूकानामपि कुर्वति सुरधुनी। नीकाश वाक्वैभवं श्रीकाञ्चीनगरी विहाररसिका शोकापहन्त्री तताम् एका पुण्यपरम्परा पशुपते आकारिणी राजते। सत्यं विधातुं निजवृत्त्यभाषितं व्याप्तिं च भूतेषु अखिलेषु चात्मनः अदृश्यत अत्यद्भुतरूपमुद्वहन् तम्भे सभायां न मृगं न मानुषं नरसिंह न मृगं न मानुषम्। My humble obeisance to the Lord of Vrindavan and Guruvayur, Shri Krishna, to Sri Rama, the Lord of Ayodhya, to Ma Lakshmi, Ma Saraswati and Ma Sita, to Mahadeva and Ma Kali, to Siddhivinayak Maharaj and Subramanya Swami, to the exemplary devotees Shri Hanumanji, and to all the devotees of the Lord who've gathered here. By the grace of the Lord, we start the discourse on the Mahabharata epic with the traditional prayer. We chant together. Please repeat after me. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नमो धर्माय महते नमः कृष्णाय वेधसे ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमस्कृत्य धर्मान् वक्ष्यामि शाश्वतान्। धर्मो विवर्धति युधिष्ठिरकीर्तनेन पापं प्रणश्यति वृकोदरकीर्तनेन शत्रुर्विनश्यति धनञ्जयकीर्तनेन माद्रीसुतौ कथयतां न भवन्ति रोगाः भक्तवात्सल्यजलधे परमानन्दरूपिणः अस्मदाचार्यराजस्य प्रपन्नास्मि पदाम्बुजम्। by the grace of the Lord, on your behalf, on my own, we first thank Lord Krishna for arranging the Mahabharata Discourse. Give him a big hand. Without his will, nothing can happen. Particularly, we are thankful to Rajendran and Sujata and the whole team. Their names I'll read out on the last day of the Katha here. Please give them a big hand too. All those who have contributed, all those who are actively contributing too. And above all, we are grateful to respected Alok Kumarji, First Secretary, who is here with his wife and mother. Give him a big hand. Please convey our regards to His Excellency the Ambassador, sir. We'll be very happy if you could do that. I'm sure when diplomats find time for Mahabharata, things are improving. Give him a big hand too. You'll appreciate so many children sitting here. Give them a big hand. I feel very happy when the next generation is prepared to listen. I can only pray, may these devotees grow from strength to strength, joy to joy, prosperity to prosperity, and may they continue to do this noble work which they have undertaken. Sujata is almost like a daughter to me, so I won't embarrass her with compliments. I can only pray, may her tribe increase, and Rajendran too. I'm very happy to find a team of devotees arranging this katha year after year. And I can only pray to the Lord for them. With these words of gratitude from Kshatrapasna, my managing trustee Krishna Kumarji, and myself, and my troupe here, Shyam Bhai on the tabla, Prakash Bhai on the flute, Prashant Bhai on the keyboard, and Ramu, my manager. We are thankful to you for this invitation. With this, we fall in tune with the divine and sing the Govinda Damodara Stotra.
दुःशासनेन कृतवस्त्रकेशा कृष्णा तदाक्रोश
अनन्यनाथ गोविन्द दामोदर
माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
Govinda Damodara Madhava iti means thus, ऐसे.
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति.
The cry of Draupadi in despair. Nobody comes to her rescue except the Lord, and these are the names that she calls out.
मधुकैटभारे भक्तानुकम्पिन् भगवन् मुरारे त्रायस्व मां केशव लोकनाथ गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
गोविन्द
दामोदर माधवेति
गोविन्द
दामोदर माधवेति.
Everybody can chant his name, many don't. That's the reason for their problem. That's the reason for their depression. That's the reason for their anxieties and chinta. Wahi karan hai dukkha.
वक्तुं समर्थोऽपि न वक्ति कश्चित् अहो जनानां व्यसनाभिमुख्यं जिह्वेऽपि वस्व
जिह्वेऽपि वस्व
जिह्वेऽपि वस्वामृतं ये तदेवा
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द
दामोदर
Many of you have heard me. For those who are new, I belong to Karnataka and Maharashtra, a community called Madhava, which has two mother tongues. Born and brought up in Madras, but I grew up in the north. But my songs come in Hindi. Don't ask me why. I call myself national integration. That's the only way I can link the north to the south. Once in Delhi, when I was doing the katha, I said, "My Lord, give me an introductory song on the Mahabharata." And this song came to me.
जिन्हें कान्हा सजाने, कभी देखो अर्जुन की प्रीति, कभी सुनो विदुर की नीति, कभी पाए धर्म वीराने, लगा जिन्हें कान्हा सजाने। महाभारत की कथा महान, महाभारत की कथा महान, जिसमें त्योर धर्म की शान, पांडव जीत गए क्योंकि कान्हा उनके मीत भये। महाभारत की कथा महान, यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः, तत्र श्री विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवानीतिर्मतिर्मम। By the grace of the Lord, we start the Mahabharata. 125,000 verses. It's a magnum opus. Very difficult to summarize, very difficult to select, more difficult to omit. The speaker finds herself almost dazed and amazed at the selection. First, let me remove some of the misnomers about the Mahabharata. Many people say, don't listen to the Mahabharata. You will have problems at home, you will have quarrels. As if you don't have quarrels without the Mahabharata. My dear listeners, here is the book which contains the jewels of India. You have the Vishnu Sahasranama, you have the Bhagavad Gita, you have the Vidur Niti, you have the Yaksha Prashna, you have the Sanat Sujatiya. 5 great works. Give them a big hand. Each one can be separate, studied separately as a work, as an independent work. I was very happy to see that the children had been trained by Srimati Lalita Sundar for chanting the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Give them a big hand, please. It's only when they are young you can teach them. After you become old, you can scarcely learn one verse. When such great works are contained in this magnum opus, how can you call it a work which will create problem for you? It's called the Panchama Veda. My master, Anantarama Dikshitar, this was the man, from whom I heard the Mahabharata. He used to speak for 41 days. I had to reduce it for my English-speaking audience to 18 days and overseas to 14 days now. That's all that I can do. That's the only justice I can do to this great work. My master used to say, it is Maha Itihasa. It removes all our papas. It is Maha Prayaschitta. There are so many sins we have committed knowingly, unknowingly, in this birth, in our last birth. We have no idea. All of them are washed off when we are listening to the Mahabharata. Do you know, my dear listeners, that the land will change as you listen to the Mahabharata? Do you know that? You'll see the change in your destiny. My life changed after I started doing the Mahabharata. The lines in the hand change after you listen to the Mahabharata, because it talks about dharma. And dharma is that which is approved by the great, and adharma is that which is disapproved by the great. People have a common question. What is dharma? What is adharma? They say, why? Why should a 13th century dharma be the 19th century dharma or the 21st century dharma? I said, no. Values are values. That which is approved by the great is dharma. That which is disapproved by the great is adharma. Dharma has been told in many words. Even Duryodhana worshipped his mother and asked her judgment before entering the war field. And she had only one answer. Yato dharmastato jayaha. Yato dharmastato jayaha. Where there is dharma, there is victory, my son, she said. So did Bhishma, so did Kripa. Unfortunately, the ones who were the Kauravas, the 100 brothers, did not understand that they had no dharma on their side. They thought they are going to win. But when they found that they were failing and falling, the question was asked again, what was that enigmatic blessing that was given to them? Yato dharmastato jayaha. The answer is given in the expansion of that enigmatic expression. Yato dharmastata krishnaha. Yato krishnastato jayaha. Would you like to listen to it in my master's voice? Yato dharmastata krishnaha. Yato krishnastato jayaha. Yato dharmastata krishnaha. Yato krishnastato jayaha. Hey Guruvayurappa. This is the way he used to chant, and all of us. I don't know how many of you have heard him. I've never heard a thunderous voice like that. Every child would learn Sanskrit. We learned Sanskrit before we learned Sanskrit. We could chant so many shlokas, because when you're young, you have a memory which is intuitive. As you grow older, the memory is in the chip. The laptop makes up for our lapses. We are machine-bound, unfortunately. At that age, you can learn all the shlokas. My master used to say, where there is dharma, there is Krishna. Where there is Krishna, there is victory. Again and again in the Mahabharata, Bhishma and Drona and Kripa will tell Duryodhana, you don't understand, sir, you don't understand. We can kill everybody, but not a party that is protected by the Lord. The Lord is the sole protector of that party, and we cannot kill them. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. At the end of the Gita, you have an answer to the first shloka. Many people forget to connect the first shloka with the last shloka of the Gita, because most of us do digital reading. I call it digital reading. I hope you understand the punch in it. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kima kurvata Sanjaya. Is this the way to read the Bhagavad Gita? Neither does Sanjaya understand, nor Krishna understand, nor Hanumanji in the banner understand. Put life into life. That's my maxim. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kim kurvata Sanjaya. What happened on the battlefield? What happened on the battlefield? You don't have a game of tennis or a game of cricket. On the battlefield, everybody fights and everybody wants to kill the other. That's all. A militant instinct is that which brings you to the battlefield. And so what else happens? Killing, bloodshed. No. What happened was the answer is in the last shloka. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutar, Dhruvanitar Matir Mama. Ordinary cricket matches, you predict. You think the Lord could not predict through Sanjaya who was going to win? Where there is Yogeshwara Krishna, where there is Dhanurdhara Partha. It's a beautiful combination. I can never forget my father's mentor, Dr. Radhakrishnan, in his inimitable English saying, the invincible combination of a grace-abounding God and a duty-bound man. What What a lovely phrase it was. Only Radhakrishnan could speak English as English and Sanskrit as Sanskrit. Please give him a big hand. Many people anglicize Sanskrit and they Dravidianize or Indianize English, which is wrong. Only he could say the invincible combination of a grace-abounding God and a duty-bound man. That is what India wants. That is what Hinduism wants, a grace-abounding God and a duty-bound man. That is what Sanjaya says towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Wherever the Mahabharata is done, it's good for the country. I pray for the government of Kuwait, which has given shelter to my brothers and sisters. Give them a big hand. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaಃ, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. It is our duty as pious Hindus to pray for this country, which has sheltered you and your talent and giving you the opportunity to raise your children here in the best of circumstances. It is good for the country. One day, says the Mahabharata, the Lord enters your heart as you listen to the Mahabharata and solves all your problems. When do you listen to the Mahabharata? When there is Mahat Kripa, when there is expanding grace, colossal grace descends into your life. Only then you can listen to the Mahabharata. Everybody thinks that Mahabharata is the history of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. But Anandavardhana in the Dhvanyaloka says, this is not the Katha of Pandavas or the Kauravas, it is Narayana Katha. Please remember, Mahabharata is Narayana Katha. The history of the Pandavas is only the argument. The case is the greatness of the Lord, because it is He who is the main character, who plays a very important role in the Mahabharata. One day, the Mahabharata opens like this. Naimisha Aranye Kulapate Satrayage Lomaharshanah Putram Sutam Agatam Drishtva Maharshayah Etavantam Kalam Kutrastitva Agatavan Iti Prishtastan Parikshitasya Janamejayasya Sarpayage Vyasakritam Shri Mahabharata Katam Shri Vaishampayana Proktam Shutva Syamantaka Panchakikam Punyakshetram Gatva Atra Agatavan Ityahatam Sautim Prati Rishayah Dvaipayanena Yat Proktam Puranam Paramarshina Suraihi Brahmarshibhischaiva Shrutva Yat Abhipujitam Shrutva Yat Abhipujitam. Every word in these great epics is important. Every word gives a volume of meanings. There is a man called Romaharshana. Romaharshana is one, when he speaks, your hair stands on end. That is the thrilling way in which he speaks. There comes Romaharshana's enquiry. Who has come? Suta, his son has come. He is asking him, Sauti, from where have you come? I just went to the Parikshit's family yajna called Sarpayaga, and I listened to the Mahabharata. This was the custom. Whenever a huge havan took place, a huge yajna took place, in between there would be a break. Forgive me. If there is a havan and you're going for a havan, if there is a break, please don't go out and play cards. Many people say, let's have a break and go and play cards. No. You must do something that is in tune with the yajna. So they sit in one part of the campus and listen to a katha. And that is where I went and listened to the Mahabharata. Says Sauti, I want to share this with you. Tasyakhyana varishtasya vichitra padavarparvanaha sukshmartha nyaya yuktasya vedarthai bhushitasya. Mahabharata has several qualifications. Vichitra pada varnanaha. Parvana. Every parva has vichitra pada. Most selected words and very, very beautiful words, lovely words, words placed in the right place, in the right order. Sukshmartha. Very subtle meanings. Nyaya yuktasya. Very logical. Vedarthai bhushitasya cha. It has got the background of the Vedic knowledge. That is how this great Mahabharata is called the Panchama Veda. My dear listeners, it's called the Panchama Veda. The other 4 Vedas we are all not qualified to read. But Mahabharata we can read because it is open for everyone. The Lord wanted the Mahabharata to be accessible to everybody. Sauti says, I must tell you, Adyam Purusham Ishanam Puruhutam Purushtutam Ritam Ekaksharam Brahma Vyakta Vyaktam Sanatanam Yasya Prasadat Vakshyami Narayana Katham Imam Narayana Kathamimam. The Mahabharata has been referred to in other Puranas also. It is said in the Upanaradiya Purana, Brahma pitanna janati, Ishat sarvopi janate, Bhakvartam rishayastastu, Bharatam pravadantihi. Many people don't understand the meaning of the Mahabharata. Only some rishis, only they understand the various interpretations of the Mahabharata. The Mahakurma Purana says, Bharatam sarvasatreshu bharate gitikavara Vishnu sahasranamapi gneyam pathyam cha tatvayam. You think of the Mahabharata, these two works stand before you. One is the Bhagavad Gita and the other is the Vishnu Sahasranama. The Brahmanda Purana says, Shastreshu Bharatam saram tatra nama sahasrakam Vaishnavam Krishna Gita cha tadjnanat muchyate anjasa. People are released and relieved of their papa, of their sins when they listen to the Vishnu Sahasranama and the Bhagavad Gita. The rishis say, tell us, sir, what happened? How was this great work written? Forgive me. The modern writer needs a drink. The modern writer needs an impetus to make him write a creative work. He is a total wreck before he starts creating any piece of art, whether it's an artist or whether it's a writer. Most of them, I see, I can't generalize. But look at the way the Mahabharata is written. It is written in the caves of the Himalayas, when the writer has a bath and he sits in a lovely cave, pure and purified. Itihasamimam chakre punyam satyavati sutaha punye himavatapade medhye giri guhalahe vishodya deham dharmatma. All my words have to be taken in the right spirit. Many people finish all the cooking, all the work of the day and then have a bath. Many people say, I'll have a bath in the afternoon. I say, no. Akhananji Maharaj of Vrindavan says, every night we die. Every night we die. As I grow older, I am obsessed with sleep. You know what my definition of sleep is? Sleep is the daily rehearsal of the eternal drama of death. How do you like it? Sleep is the daily rehearsal of the eternal drama of death. When we get up, the body is not clean. We do not know what happened. So we have to have a bath. We have to wear fresh clothes and then start the work of the day. Here is he, Vishodya Deham Dharmatma Darbha Samstaram Ashritaha. He sits on the Darbhasana of grass. Shuchi Saniyamo Vyasa Shantatma Tapasistitaha. When you're going to create a work of this magnitude, even when we want to write a letter, how many times we correct it? The old-fashioned Bacon said, writing maketh the perfect man. You can talk what you want, but when you start writing, you understand how stupid you are. The more you write, the less you communicate. That is how you expose your ignorance. You understand? I said, the more you write, the less you communicate. So you go on writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. When do you really write? When you create from your heart. Please remember, Shantatma. When you're calm, you can write. When you're tranquil, you can write. When you're serene, you can write. Only then, Shantatma tapasistitaha. When you make your mind calm, you can write. Bharatasya itihasasya dharmenanvikshatam gatim. As he was thinking of how I can present this great work, 125,000 verses, 6 volumes like this. Thanks to the Gita Press. Please give a big hand to Gita Press. The Gita Press is one of those monumental contributions to Indian culture and spirituality. Books are sold so cheap because somebody is subsidizing them, please remember. One day when I went to the Gita Press in Gorakhpur, at that time Radhe Baba was alive. Radhe Baba said, go and see the press. It was a Sunday. When I visited the press, an old man took some cement and he was repairing the floor. He did Ram Ram. I said Ram Ram and I went away. Later on my guide told me, do you know who he is? I said, I'm sorry, I don't know. He owns 20 cloth shops in Gorakhpur. And he told his children,
we will only receive that much that we need to sustain ourselves. The rest of the profit will go to the Gita Press. That is how the Gita Press books are so cheap. You understand? So cheap, so cheap. I was very happy to know from the ISKCON movement that in Moscow, a Russian laborer gives 1 week's pay to get a Russian copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Please clap, my dear listeners. And we Indians get the Bhagavad Gita for 1 rupee, we will not buy it. What is wrong with us? Please, carry the Bhagavad Gita with you. The Lord speaks through the Gita. It is the Lord's tongue. Bhagavad Gita kinchidadhita. Bhagavad Gita kinchidadhita.
Gita kinchidadhita.
Ganga jalalav kanika pita.
Ganga jalav kanika pita.
Sakritapiyena murari samarcha.
Sakritapena murari samarcha.
Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha.
Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha.
Bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja mudhamate. Samprapte sannihite kale. Nahi nahi rakshati dukring karne. It is for us to realize. Shuchis saniyamo vyasa shantatma tapasistitaha. Whenever you're worried about your work, how you're going to present it to the world, marketing is everything. Who will take down my Mahabharata? Who will present it to the world? That was the problem of this great man called Vyasa. And he said, only Brahmaji can solve the problem. And Brahmaji came. As it happened in the Valmiki Ramayana, Sri Valmiki ji wrote the entire Ramayana, 24,000 verses, and he was wondering, when he got the shloka, which was an outburst of sorrow that turned into a verse, the verse became a curse, or the curse became a verse. Ma nishada pratishtantam agamas shashvati sama yat krauncha mitunat ekam avadik kama mohitam. And that time he said, how did I compose this shloka? How did these words come to me? And whenever you have a doubt, you say, only Brahmaji knows. Because for convenience sake, we call Brahmaji production manager of the world. He's the first one who produced the world. And he said, only Brahmaji knows. And Brahmaji appeared before him and told him, you have written this shloka by my grace. Shloka eva tvaya baddho natra karya vicharana machandat eva te brahman pravrittiyam saraswati. Again Brahmaji comes here to Vyasa too. Brahmaji has to tell him, Tatra jagama bhagavan brahma loka guru swayam prityartham tasya chaivarshe lokanam hitakam yayam. When a great work is written, some works are written for entertainment. Very few works are written for enlightenment. Mahabharata is one of them. Mahabharata is a work of enlightenment. You are going to learn so much from the Mahabharata that you'll be zapped. The end of the session, you and I, both of us are zapped at the fund of knowledge that this great epic gives you. Tam drishtva vismito bhutva pranjali pranatastitaha asanam kalpayamasa sarvai muniganai vritaha. Please sit down, Brahmaji. Please sit down and tell me what I should do. Brahman Vedarahasyam cha yachanyasthapitam maya sangopanishadam chaiva vedanam vistarakriya. I have written a huge work. I have something in mind which is huge, which is colossal, whose magnitude is so great that I need somebody very capable to sit and write. Don't worry. Tvaya bharata suryena drinam vinihitam tamaham. Your Mahabharata is going to be a Surya, is going to be a sun, which is going to remove the darkness of ignorance in mankind. And if you want a stenographer, kavyasya lekhanarthaya ganesha smaryatam bune. All children love Ganapathi. Right from my childhood, I had a weakness for Ganapathi. For the simple reason that as soon as you see Ganapathi, you feel happy, don't you? That rotundity, that pleasant face. Everybody loves Ganapathi. And Ganapathi is accessible to everyone. You can have a Ganapathi in stone. You can have a Ganapathi in gold. You can have a Ganapathi in crystal. You can have a Ganapathi in platinum. You can have a Ganapathi in turmeric. You can have a Ganapathi in mud. Please give him a big hand. That is one Lord whom you can create with any material, and you can invoke him. And best part was, I used to ask my Guruji,
how come grass is being offered to him, Dhruva grass? He said, my child, any other flower you have to go to the market and spend money. Grass grows everywhere. That is how Ganapathi accepts it. From the poorest he accepts it. And Ganapathi is the Vigna Vinayaka. He is the one who removes obstacles. Whenever you start anything, you will have obstacles. The organizers here must have had obstacles. I don't want to tell you the details. But any good work you start, you will have obstacles. And when you pray to Vinayaka, naturally, he removes all the obstacles. Think of Ganapathi. My father was Dr. Radhakrishnan's student. You can imagine the caliber of his intelligence. Even his wit was very intellectual. He said, easy to get a son-in-law, very difficult to get a stenographer. I used to be shocked. He said, you don't know. Stenographers can get on your nerves and make the master commit suicide. Because they don't know how to take down what you dictate. And if your mind is really fast and your stenographer cannot keep pace with you, you go mad. You really go mad. But where Ganapathi is concerned, look at the first combination of the one who dictates and the one who takes down. Tatasasmara herambham vyasas satyavati sutaha smrta matru ganeshana bhakta chintita purakaha. Children, the moment you think of Ganesha, he's there for you to finish all that you want to complete, to help you achieve what you want to. Tatra jagama vignesha veda vyaso yatastitaha pujitaschopavistascha vyasena uktastadanagaham. That sinless one was made to stand there, sit there and accept the hospitality of Vyasa. Vyasa said, will you be my stenographer? Lekhako bharatastasya bhavatvam gananayaka. For the first time you find they are a match to each other. Vyasa and Ganapathi are a match to each other. Usually the master is superior to the stenographer. In this case, they are a match to each other. Here is Vyasa asking him, will you be my stenographer? Mayaiva prochyamanasya manasa kalpitasya cha. This is a tall order. Whatever I dictate, you must take down. Whatever I am imagining and about to dictate, also you must take down. Even after you have dictated, he doesn't take down. Imagine. And you have to make him rewrite and rewrite and retype and retype. How many times can you do it? You go crazy when a stenographer doesn't rise up to your expectations. Here is Gananayaka being asked, will you please remember that you have to take down whatever I say and also whatever I'm imagining. Shrutvaitat praha vignesha. Ganapathi says, hum bhi kuch kam nahi. I have a point counterpoint. If ever you stop dictating, I resign and go. This also is a tall order, isn't it? If ever you stop dictating, yadi me lekhani kshanam likhato navatishteta tadasyam lekhakokyaham. I will be your lekhaka, your stenographer, as long as you continuously continue to dictate. Now Vyasa thought, I must somehow make him subdued. Vyasa said, every word that I speak, you should understand and take down. Most of us dictate letters. The stenographer is not understanding a word of what you're saying. It could be a love letter to your wife or it could be a funeral oration. To them it's the same thing. Tata pragnasya ka bhasha. What can you do to stenographers? Tell me. Here is the Lord being asked, Lord Ganesha being asked, Vyaso api uvacham tam devam abuddhva malikha kvachit. Don't take down without understanding. Om, he says. Om means yes. Om ityuktva ganeshopi babhuva kila lekhakaha. Who can forget that lovely picture where Vyasa is dictating and Ganapathi is taking down. As he is taking down, now Vyasa says he is taking down very fast. So let me create riddles. 8,800 riddles are there in the Mahabharata. So by the time he solves the riddle, Vyasa plans the next shloka. Give both of them a big hand. Do you understand? It's a lovely combination. Point counterpoint. Both of them very actively participating in this yajna called the Mahabharata. Sarvajñopi Ganesho yat Kshanamaste vicharayan tavat chakara vyasopi shlokan anyan bahunapi. For your information, the original Mahabharata was 60 lakh shlokas. This was only for the gods in heaven. Trimshat shatasahastram devaloke pratishtitam. 15 lakh shlokas then came for the Pitris, the mains, our ancestors who are departed. 14 lakh shlokas came for the Gandharveshu Chaturdasha. Then 1 lakh shloka came for us. Ekam shatasahastram tu manushesha pratishtitam narado ashravayat devan asito devala pitrin. According to our Shastra, it is Narada who gave it to the Devas and Asita who gave it to the Devatas, and that came down to us through Vyasa and the writing of Vigneshwara. Gandharva yaksha rakshamsi shravayamasa vaishukaha shishyo vasista dharmatma sarva veda vidambaraha. Then comes a description of the two great families, Pandavas and Kauravas. The botanical metaphor in India is very common. You have known in the Upanishads, there is a tree of life, and in this tree there's a branch. And on this branch there are two birds sitting. One is eating, drinking, flying, sleeping, waking. The other one is watching the other one. The one that is watching is the Paramatma. The busybody is the Jivatma. This is the tree of life in the Upanishads. There's a second tree of life in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 15th chapter, Urdhva Mula Madhasya, you find that is a topsy-turvy tree. There's a third tree, and that is in the Bhagavad Mahapurana, when the tree of the Vedas has a fruit called the Bhagavata. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam shukamukhat amritadrava samyutam pibata 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 bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasikaha bhuvi bhavukaha. That is the tree. There is another tree in the Mahabharata. Duryodhano manyumayo mahan drumaha skandak karnaha shakunistasya shakha dushasana pushpaphale samruddhe moolam raja dhritarashtro amanishi. Every word is important. And what a graphic description. My only rival in the world is B.R. Chopra. Because B.R. Chopra has multiple cameras, I don't even have one. With the Lord's gift, I have to create for you what B.R. Chopra has done. Duryodhano manyumayo mahandrumaha. Duryodhana is the huge, massive tree. And who is he? Manyumayo, full of anger. There is not a single moment when Duryodhana is not angry with the Pandavas. Skandha karnaha. The trunk is karna. Shakunistasya shakha. The branches are shakuni. Dushasana pushpaphale samruddhe. Dushasana is the pushpa and the phala, the fruit and the flower. Who is the root? Moolam raja. Moolam raja, blind king, blind within and blind without, says the Acharya. The Acharyas say we don't mind retinal blindness, but you can't be blind to what is good and bad. You can't have an inner blindness. He is doubly blind. Moolam Raja Dhritarashtra. Many of the names which we give our children have no meaning. Chiku, Pikku, Pintu, Chintu. I really don't know what they mean. Even the children themselves don't know. But Sanskrit names in our scriptures are full of meaning. Dhritarashtra means sitting tight, not sitting light. Like many of our ministers, even after CBI report, don't resign. That is how. Sitting tight. No. Don't sit tight. Mahatma Gandhi said you should be above your seat. The seat cannot block you. You have to rise above the seat. Dhritarashtra. He doesn't want to give up the kingdom. And he holds on to the kingdom. Who is he? Amanishi. Unwise. Manisha means wisdom. Amanishi means unwise. The foolish king. So old and so foolish. Duryodhano manyumayo mahandrumaha. Skandakarnaha. Shakunistasya shakha. Dushasana pushpaphale samruddhe. Moolam raja dhritarashtro amanishi. What about the Pandava tree? Yudhishthiro dharmamayo mahandrumaha. Yudhishthira is the Dharmamaya Druma. He is the tree of righteousness. Skando Arjuno. The trunk is Arjuna. Bhimaseno asya shakha. Bhima is the branch. Madri Sutau, Nakula and Sahadeva. They are the twins. Madri Sutau Pushpafale Samruddhe. Who is the root? Moolam Krishno. Moolam Krishno. Moolam Krishno. Moolam Krishno. Brahmacha Brahmanacha. Brahmacha Brahmanacha. There are three main roots for a tree, and these are the three roots. One is the Vedas, Brahma, one is the Brahmanas, and the other is Krishna. How can Pandavas not win? You understand why they won. Moolam Krishno. Clap, my dear listeners, clap. Relax, relax. Not for me, for the Mahabharata. I want you to respond to this great sensitive epic sensitively. It is an epic which tells you who wins. Children today have no values except money. And money does not help. Money does not save. Money does not protect. It's only values which protect. It is my humble desire to have a college of values. And the homework is going on and on and on. One day that beautiful edifice will stand up when our children will understand that values are invaluable. That is what the Pandavas knew. For some time they were in the forest, but ultimately they were crowned. This is what I tell children. Does not matter for some time if you have to suffer, if you walk the path of dharma. Itni shakti hame dena data.
इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना।
Let us not commit a mistake by mistake. Let us walk the path of righteousness.
दूर अज्ञान के हो अंधेरे, तू हमें ज्ञान की रोशनी दे। दूर अज्ञान के हो अंधेरे, तू हमें ज्ञान की रोशनी दे। हर बुराई से बच के रहे हम, जितने भी दे भली जिंदगी दे। बैर होना किसी का किसी से, भावना मन में बदले की होना। बैर होना किसी का किसी से, भावना मन में बदले की होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना।
इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना. Let us walk the path of righteousness. That is what the Mahabharata is teaching us again and again, and tell the children, they walk the path of righteousness, they naturally reach the goal. It does not matter if the world is not by our side. We are with values. That is what the Mahabharata teaches. My dear devout listeners, in the opening session of the Adi Parva, question is being asked of Dhritarashtra. When did you lose hope? When did you lose hope? And going down memory lane, Dhritarashtra is recalling, oh, don't ask me, right from the beginning I lost hope. I was pretending to be hopeful, but I knew that we are not going to win. When did you lose hope? The question was asked. Yada shrausham dhanurayamya chitram viddham lakshyam patitam vai prithivyam krishnam hritam prekshatam sarvarajñam tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya. Please don't think he doesn't know. He knows, but he doesn't want to accept. Being over fond of his wrong son, his bad son called Duryodhana, he doesn't want to accept. One thing is understanding, the other thing is accepting. He understands, but does not want to accept. He said, that day, which day? That day when Draupadi's Swayamvara took place, and all the princes were defeated, and only Arjuna won. We will come to that part of the Mahabharata, which I will tell children. How does a person become successful? There is a thing called proficiency. There is a thing called success. Proficiency is only professional efficiency, but success comes by the grace of God, my dear listeners. Success comes by the grace of God. Many people have the same qualification. Why does one get a promotion? Because of grace. You may accept it, you may not accept it, but this is my dictum. Only through grace, only by God's grace you come up in life. And Arjuna knew it, that the Lord was close to him in the Draupadi Swayamvara. Everybody tries to hit at the target, but then it is only Arjuna who prays to the Lord. Krishna is prayed to by Arjuna. When I came to know that Draupadi has been won by Arjuna, my hopes were lost. Sanjaya, my hopes were lost. When again? Yadastrausham dvarakayam subhadram prasahyodam madhavim arjunena indraprastham vrishnivirau chayatau tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya. One of those humorous episodes in the Mahabharata is the Subhadra episode. The Lord is up to mischief all the time. Sri Rama is never up to mischief except in the Shurpanaka episode. That is the only time he relaxes and has a joke. Maryada Purushottam hai na haste hai na hasate hai. But where Krishna is concerned, he is full of mischief, full of play acting, full of naughtiness. I hope you remember that Arjuna went on a tirthatana and came very close to Dwaraka. When he came close to Dwaraka, his heart started beating fast because he remembered there's a beautiful sister of Krishna and he would like to marry her. Her name is Subhadra. But the brother of Krishna had decided that she should not marry. She should not marry Arjuna. It was his decision that it was Duryodhana who was to marry. And what happened? The Lord was approached by Arjuna. Arjuna said, Swami, I want to marry your sister. Only you can help me. The Lord said, please become a sannyasin. Arjuna says, I'm asking for a householder's life and you're asking me to become a sannyasin. He says, only the garb of a sannyasin. Wear a camouflage. Have a sannyasin's robe and go and sit in one cave. And when you sit in the cave, people will come around. Please don't open your mouth. If you open your mouth, they'll know it's the voice of Arjuna. So we will tell everybody that Swamiji is observing maunam. He is silent. And so silence can be a great protection for you. Everybody who's wandering in the forest comes to see a very handsome Swamiji sitting in the cave in the form of a sannyasin, a very handsome sannyasin. They go and bow down to him. He blesses silently. All of them run to Balramji and say, Sir, a very beautiful person, a lovely soul, a radiant monk has arrived. Please come and do pranam to him. Arjuna is feeling very embarrassed because it is the Lord's elder brother who is doing pranam to him. Right? It is a very embarrassing moment for him, but he has to continue to play act. And then he says, Swamiji, don't stay in the forest. Now the monsoon is starting. Please come into a palace guest house. The Lord tells Balramji, please don't blame me. I don't want an attractive sannyasin in the midst of beautiful girls in our inner apartment. If something happens, don't blame me. I have given you a fair warning. Balramji says, you little child, Krishna, you don't understand anything. And Krishna laughs. If he doesn't understand anything, who understands? And there comes Arjuna into the guest house. And Balramji says, our sister Subhadra is going to serve him. The Lord says, exactly what I wanted to. This is exactly master planning or masterly planning, you can call it. Only the Lord can do it. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtu matta smriti jnanam vohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedantagrat veda videva chaham. The master switches with him, my dear children. You want any righteous desire to be fulfilled? Go to him. Go to him and he will fulfill that desire. This is what is happening in the life of Arjuna when Arjuna is now being served by Subhadra. Subhadra comes close to Arjuna and as she is offering him hospitality, she looks at the large chest of Arjuna. I hope you know the physique of a sannyasin is generally different from the physique of a warrior. She sees the physique of a warrior and very shyly she says, Swamiji, in your wanderings, have you come across that handsome Arjuna? He says, my lady, this is Arjuna. I am Arjuna. She is very happy. But then the Lord has to help them out. How can he? All of them go on a journey along with Krishna. And all of them are gone halfway through, just like a movie story, Halfway through, when everybody is sleeping, the Lord comes back. Late in the night, he comes back, calls Indra and says, let your son be married to my sister today. At midnight, my Lord himself dresses Arjuna and becomes the bridegroom's man. Imagine, what a punya for the Pandavas. And that day, early in the morning, after the wedding is over, it is Subhadra who is driving the chariot for Arjuna. Long before the Western woman got her driving license, the Indian woman had her driving license. And on the battlefield, mind you, not for a picnic, Kaikeyi drove on the battlefield the chariot of Dasharatha. Subhadra drove for Arjuna. Satyabhama drove for my Lord in the Narakasura Vadha. So all these women, please don't think the woman in India has been subdued. Not at all. For political reason, for some time she went into Parda. For some time. Otherwise she's a very bold woman. You can see the boldness of Draupadi. The way she addresses the men, and the men tremble before her, because she stands for righteousness. The day I came to know that Subhadra was taken away by Arjuna and Krishna was behind this scene, I lost my hope, says Dhritarashtra. At every stage. Yadashrausham jatushat veshmo nastat muktan parthan panchakuntya sametan yuktam chaisham viduram swartha siddhau tadanasham se vijayaya Sanjaya. Yes, Swami. I plan to kill. You have never come across a more vicious family than this. Of course, in many families you have cousins hating cousins. But we have never seen anyone hating the Pandavas as the Kauravas do. All of them plan. And what do they plan? That we will kill the Pancha Pandavas and their mother and burn them in a house of lac. Highly combustible stuff is lac. With that, a beautiful house is made. And do you know what Dhritarashtra says? Oh, Yudhishthira, you are our representative. Please go to Varanavata. There is a lovely festival there, a Shiva festival. Go and please distribute clothes and prizes to the artists on our behalf and have a holiday. People are very shrewd. The public of Hastinapura say, why is this old man packing off the entire family? According to management schools, all the corporate chiefs should not travel by one plane. I hope you understand. Because there is the likelihood of everybody dying. Anything can happen. So when they find that 5 Pandavas and Kunti, all 5 of them are being sent away, the public is suspicious. And as they're going, who says, he who knows by day sees by night. He who knows by day sees by night. It's almost like a Sherlock Holmes story. He who knows by day sees by night. That which burns need not be fire. That which escapes need not be an ordinary creature. So many riddles are given, and Yudhishthira understands they're up to something. Only Bhima is the savior. When the whole place is about to burn, they have already built a tunnel. The person who to dig the tunnel, Kanaka, he comes and says, "Sir, I have been asked to dig a tunnel, and when the whole house of black is on fire, you take the tunnel and come away." Yudhishthira, in his own righteous way, says, "We have no money to pay you." Kanaka says it's a prepaid program. It's a prepaid program. Vidura has already paid. Just to tell you how everything is planned. And when the house is burning, only Bhima escapes with his mother in his arms, his two brothers on his shoulders, and making his way through the forest, breaking the trees with his chest, says the Mahabharata. When I heard that Bhima saved the Pandavas along with Kunti, all my hope was gone. Yadashrausham Digvijaye Panduputre Vashikritan Bhumipalan Prasahya Mahakratum Rajasuyam Kritamcha Tadanasham Se Vijayaya Samjaya. When I came to know that the Pandavas performed the Rajasuya Yaga and successfully, I knew we were gone. Yadashrausham. This is the bane of society. This is the stigma in the history of India, that the eldest queen of a family was dragged into the court and was about to be disrobed. It's not a nightclub. It is not striptease. It is not disco. It is not where women bare themselves to please sensuous men. It is the eldest empress of the family about to be disrobed by her brother-in-law in public, and entire crowd sat silent. When I came to hear that, Yadasrausham Draupadim Ashrukantim Sabham Nitam Dukhitam Ekavastram Rajaswalam Nathavatim Anathavatim Tadanasham Se Vijayaya Sanjaya. I know we are going to fall. When a good woman like her weeps, it is only to drown our dynasty in devastation. I knew she was drowning our dynasty in devastation. Bhari sabha mein Krishna pukare, koi na usko bachaye. Bhari sabha mein
Krishna pukare, koi na usko bachaye.
Ye kaisa dharma hai.
I
asked the Lord for a song on the Draupadi Vastra Parva.
ये कैसा न्याय है.
दुशासन है देवर उसका, द्रौपदी भाभी कहलाए. देवर भाभी के वस्त्र जो खींचे, कोई उसे रोक न पाए. ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है. ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है. कुछ भी बोल न पाए. विदुर विकर्ण तो बोलते लेकिन बेबस वो कहलाए. ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है. ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है. राजा भी अंधा प्रजा भी अंधी, बेटे दुष्ट कहलाए। राजा भी अंधा प्रजा भी अंधी, बेटे दुष्ट कहलाए। गांधारी तो आंख पे पट्टी बांध के रोती जाए। ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है, ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है। Have 5 husbands, stalwarts. नकुल सहदेव तो चुप है बैठे, धर्म तो पलक झुकाए। ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है, ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है। वो सभा नहीं जहाँ वृद्ध नहीं हो, वो वृद्ध नहीं जो धर्म न बोले, वो धर्म नहीं जो रक्षा करे ना। द्रौपदी रोती जाए। ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है,
ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है।
गोविंदा हरि हरि गोविंदा, गोविंदा हरि हरि गोविंदा। नाथ होकर अनाथ बनी मैं, सनाथ होकर अनाथ बनी मैं। विश्वनाथ तू कहाँ छुपा है,
विश्वनाथ तू कहाँ छुपा है।
पांडव बंधो अनाथ रक्षक, द्रौपदी बोले कहाँ छुपा है।
पांडव बंधो अनाथ रक्षक, द्रौपदी बोली कहाँ छुपा है।
कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है, ये कैसा धर्म है, ये कैसा न्याय है। गोविंदा
हरि हरि गोविंदा, गोविंदा हरि हरि गोविंदा।
वस्त्र खींचता जाए, हाथ पसारे कृष्णा रोए। अक्षय वस्त्र तो आते जाए, कृष्ण कृपा को ये बतलाए। अक्षय वस्त्र तो आते जाए, कृष्ण कृपा को ये बतलाए। ऐसा धर्म है, ये ऐसा न्याय है। यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत, अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां, धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे 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 युगे। ऐसा धर्म है। When I came to know that Draupadi was saved by the divine invisible hands of Krishna, I lost hope, says Dhritarashtra. Yada asrausham Draupadim ashrukanthim sabham neetam dukkhitam ekavastram rajasvalam nathavatim anathavat tada nasham se vijayaya sanjaya. Yada asrausham वाससां तत्र राशिं समाक्षिप कितवो मंदबुद्धिः दुःशासनो गतवान् नैव शान्तं तदा नाशंसे विजयाय संजया। तदा नाशंसे विजयाय संजया। यदा स्रौषं कश्मलेनाविपन्ने रथोपस्थे सीदमाने अर्जुने वै कृष्णं लोकान् दर्शयानं शरीरे तदा नाशंसे विजयाय संजया। Dhritarashtra has heard the running commentary on the battlefield. Remember, we have satellites today. There was a one-man satellite called Sanjaya. Please give him a big hand. One-man satellite. Sitting in the palace, he could see what was happening on the battlefield. And he was relating. When I heard Sanjaya, when I heard you describing, Arjuna has become sad, depressed, desolate, abandoned. And he's standing on the battlefield, totally woebegone. Gandivam tramsate hastat. When he was falling, a prey to depression, when my master told him, get up, Arjuna, and see me as I am. The first PowerPoint demonstration was from Krishna to Arjuna in the 11th chapter of the Gita. 17 chapters of the Gita are audio education. The 11th chapter is the video education, my dear listeners. Highly advanced technology, highly advanced. You can clap louder, no? Relax. Don't sit here to sit in judgment on me. Both of us are students of the Mahabharata. I'm a slightly senior student, that is why, because of my commitment for years. We are relaxing. We are a family admiring the Mahabharata together. That's why I say, my dear listeners, here was the Lord showing the beautiful Vishwarupa to Arjuna. An ordinary IMAX show disturbs you. A 3D show, that disturbs you. Imagine seeing the Lord 100,000 hands on 100,000 faces, 100,000 feet and 100,000 garlands. Divi silva sahasrasya bhavet yugavatu chita. Yadi bhasadrisha sasyad bhasastasya bhatmanaha. Oh, Arjuna sees the 100,000 suns simultaneously blazing forth. When the first atomic fusion took place, the scientists were asked, how would you describe it? They said it is comparable only to the 11th chapter of the Gita, and that is all. They couldn't find any comparison, only the 11th chapter of the Gita. And Arjuna stood there. What did he see? Everything in the Lord. He saw everything in the Lord, and he saw the Lord everywhere. And came to know Pitahasi Lokasya Characharasya Tomasya Pujyasya Gurur Gariyan Natvat Samoasti Abhyadika Kutonyo Lokatre Pradima Prabhava. When I came to know that Arjuna saw the Vishwarupa, Yadashrausham Kashmalena Abhipanne Ratsathopaste Sidamane Arjune Vai Krishnam Lokan Darshayanam Charire Tadanasham Se Vijayaya Sanjaya. I knew we are not going to win. When I came to know, Yadashrausham Shantanaveshayani Paniyarthe Choditena Arjunena Bhumim Bhitva Tarpitam Tatra Bhishmam Tadanasham Se Vijayaya Sanjaya. Even if you're in love with the ruling party, sometimes you admire people in the opposition party also. And one such is Bhishma. Bhishma, although on the opposite side, is one whom we admire, one whom we appreciate, one whom we almost revere. When I came to know that Bhishma was on his deathbed, who can forget the last scenes of Bhishma? Give B.R. Chopra a big hand. One of the graphic descriptions is of that great character called Bhishma. More about him tomorrow. When he's lying on the Sharatalpa, when he's lying on the bed of arrows. I'm thirsty, Arjuna. I'm thirsty. Everybody runs for water. People don't know what Arjuna knows. Arjuna knows that Ganga Putra will have only Ganga Jala. That is why he takes the bow and arrow and shoots into the center of the earth. What are your computerized fountains compared to the master archery of Arjuna? Out comes a spout of water, Gange. Jeevan safal kar de. I got this song on the Ganga in Uttarkashi.
सफल कर दे
काम क्रोध मद मोह हटा के
काम क्रोध मद लोभ हटा के
जीवन निर्मल कर दे
गंगे जीवन सफल कर दे। भगवत गीता किंचिदधीता गंगा जललव कणिका पीता।
भगवत गीता किंचिदधीता गंगा जललव कणिका पीता।
सकृदपियेन मुरारी समर्च्या।
सकृदपियेन मुरारी समर्चा।
सकृदपियेन मुरारी समर्च्या।
सकृदपियेन मुरारी समर्चा।
क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
जीवन सफल कर दे। Ganga in Uttarkashi is gorgeous, gushing, rushing down the mountain path. ऊंचे ऊंचे पहाड़ों से बहता तेरा पानी। कहता जाए मानव देखो बीते जिंदगानी।
ऊंचे ऊंचे पहाड़ों से बहता तेरा पानी। कहता जाए मानव देखो बीती जिंदगानी।
रहेगा न तू न रहेगी निशानी।
रहेगा न तू न रहेगी निशानी।
जीवन सफल कर दे। हृदय कोमल कर दे। गंगे जीवन सफल कर दे। Give my musicians a big hand. In the deserts of Kuwait, they make the Ganga flow. Shyam Bhai on the tabla and Prashant Bhai on the keyboard. They make the Ganga flow everywhere, like Prakash Bhai makes the Rasa Leela possible even at midday. Only he can do it. The Mahabharata tells us, when I came to know that the little child of the Pandavas called Arjuna, for his grandsire, could make a spout of Ganga water come from the middle of the earth, I came to know, yada shrousham shantanaveshayani paniyarthe chodite narjunena bhumim vitva tarpitam tatra bhishmam tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya yada drono vividhan astramargan nidarshayan samare chitrayodhi na pandavan shreshthataran nihanti tadanasham se Vijayaya Sanjaya. Among the experts who were then in the opposition party are Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Karna. They are the four. The three are the Acharya Sthana. Karna, of course, is a warrior. But all four of them are superior warriors. He says, when I came to know that even Drona was ineffective. Drona says the Mahabharata, I hope you know Drona's age in the Mahabharata war, 85. He was fighting like a boy of 16. Give him a big hand. Agile, like your Chinese heroes flying in the sky. You know, that is how he would. That's how he could wield any weapon. This Drona, he was ineffective where Arjuna was concerned. What was the reason? Because Krishna was their friend, my dear listeners. Krishna was their friend. महाभारत की कथा महान, महाभारत की कथा महान, जिसमें सत्य और धर्म की शान पांडव जीत गए, क्योंकि कान्हा उनके मीत भये। महाभारत की कथा महान, महाभारत की कथा महान, महाभारत की कथा महान। यदा द्रोणो विविधान अस्त्रमार्गान निदर्शयन समरे चित्रयोधी. What a lovely title, Chitrayodhi. Nobody could fight like him. And yet, many times, when you have a bad boss, even good people get chastised. Duryodhana had a way of speaking foul things even to the elders. He used to tell Drona, you don't fight. You don't show the best capacity that you have. Drona said, whatever best capacity I have, I cannot overtake Krishna's grace on the Pandavas. They will win because of him.
Chitrayodhi. He is known as Chitrayodhi. The most wonderful tricks of archery he knew. Na Pandavan Shrestataran Nihanti Tadhanasham se Vijayaya Sanjaya Yada Shrausham Madhavam Vasudevam Sarvatmana Pandavarthe Nivishtam Yastyemam Gam Vikramam Ekamahu Tadhanasham se Vijayaya Sanjaya. When the warfare was on and Arjuna had to be saved, my master, you've seen motorbike drivers on the motorbike, when they want to stop the motorbike, they put their foot on the ground. Suddenly it comes to a halt. No? Only they can do it. If you and I do it, we'll brush our feet, and bruise them. No, that's not the way. My master just pressed the earth and protected Arjuna. When I knew that he was saving Arjuna from Karna, I knew that the Lord of the world is with them. When I came to know Yadatsrausham, one of the horrible, gory scenes of the Mahabharata, which God willing I will do next year, is the killing of Dushasana. It is gory. That's the only way I can describe it. For the first time you find a good man like Bhimasena loses his temper and almost becomes wild. Why wild? He becomes uncontrollably wild, and he drags Dushasana by the arm. This is the arm that hurt our queen, our empress, and dragged her lovely tresses all along the ground of the court. I will pull out this arm, says Bhimasena. He pulls it out from the socket and makes him go round and round the battlefield, and then he sits on his chest and drinks blood. It is a gory scene. It's a gory scene. Gods in heaven are afraid. What does this symbolize? Sometimes sattvic people become almost wild because of suppressed revenge. 13 years they have suppressed their revenge. 13 years they have suffered. Against the laws they have suffered. Unrighteously they have suffered. They have not got their father's piece of property. They did not ask for the Kaurava's property. And today he says, Yadashrausham Bhimasenena Pitam Raktam Bratur Yudhi Dushasanasya Nivaritam Nanyatamena Bhimam Tada Nasham se Vijayaya Sanjaya. Imagine a father listening to such a gory report of his son's death. I knew we are not going to win. Yadashrausham Karna Uvacha Bhishmam Naham Yotsya Yudhyamane Tvayiti. If you think of Rama's Shakti, you have to think of Krishna's Yukti. The Lord has his own way. He has his own way of protecting the Pandavas negatively and positively. All is fair in love and war. I hope you know that. Where Krishna is concerned is Rajatantra. And that is where Rajatantra works. He has asked Karna that you will not fight as long as Bhishma is on the battlefield. The Lord knows to face Bhishma and Karna together on the battlefield will be very difficult. When I came to know that Karna said, Bhishma, as long as you are there, I will not fight. Hitva senam apachakrama chapi tadana shamse vijayaya sanjaya. When I came to know about my son, yadasraucham shrantamekam shayanam. The most despicable end is the end of Duryodhana. He who has lived in style, he who has walked the palaces in gold and diamond, he is hiding, can you believe, in the middle of a lake, and is telling Yudhishthira, you want the kingdom, you take it away. Yudhishthira says, I don't want the kingdom that way. Come out of the water, fight and give up. I don't want to take away a kingdom from a coward like you, who is lying at the bottom of a lake. Despicable end. You want people to depart with a bang and not with a whimper. Yadastrausham shrantamekam shayanam hrudam gatva. Hrudam means lake, pond. Hrudam gatva sthambayitva tadambaha duryodhanam viratham bhagna shaktim tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya. Vijayaya sanjaya. Vijayaya sanjaya. Yadastraushe shrantahaye dhananjaye Muktva hayan payayitva upavrittan punaryuktva vasudevam prayantam tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya. All these are the subtle points of the Mahabharata which you're likely to miss when you're watching a movie. I have a big disadvantage, I told you. My rival, B.R. Chopra, has thousands of cameras and he's got thousands of characters. I have to create all this in the Indian community school hall. Please give them a big hand for giving us the school. In this little hall, I have to create the atmosphere for you. You imagine what a uphill task it is. Of course, you're cooperating, so thank you. I clap for you and your cooperation. Your imagination is running parallel to mine, so I can see the rapport that I've established with you. Hey, Sanjaya, when I came to know what? Suddenly, when the battle is on, the Lord says, stop, Arjuna. Why, Swami? Your horses are thirsty. The Lord says, your horses are thirsty. Back home in India, we don't even know if our shoppers are hungry. Whenever I do the Ramayana or the Mahabharata or the Bhagavata, I tell people, the boss will have cholesterol, BP, sugar, etc., etc. The poor shopper is waiting in the parking place. Please give him dinner. Please give him dinner. From that time, all the ladies of the house where I have advised them, carry lunch packets and dinner packets and give it to them. From whom did you learn this? From Sri Rama. Sri Rama tells Guha in the Ramayana, my grooms are hungry. My horses are thirsty. Feed them, feed them. This is how the Lord is sensitive. We have become insensitive. Doctors say we have a dermis and an epidermis. I say there is a superdermis of insensitivity. A superdermis of insensitivity. We are not bothered about he is hungry, she is hungry. I am hungry, yes, that's all. Only I matter. Please don't. Please think of someone who is working for you. Her hunger or his hunger is as important as yours. Hey, Sanjaya, in the middle of the battlefield, suddenly the Lord says, stop. And Arjuna says, what do you want me to do? I want your horses to have a good drink of water. How do we do it? Only Arjuna can. With the magic of his archery, he creates a canopy, he creates a pond, all this within 2 minutes, like the motor race driver changing his tire within 20 seconds. That is how it is. One quick canopy and one pond of water, fresh lotuses, fresh bees hovering over it. Only Arjuna can do that. Only Arjuna can do it. And then my Lord brings all the horses and says, drink. I'm jealous of the horses. I'm jealous of the horses. The healing hands of Dhanvantari are stroking the twitching backs of the horses, and the horses' wounds are healed in a minute, my dear listeners. They are healed in a minute. Drink, says the Lord. Dhritarashtra says, Sanjaya, if this is how the Lord loves the horses of Arjuna, how much he must be loving Arjuna and the Pandavas. How can we win? How can we ever win? How can we ever win? Yada srausham shrantahaye dhananjaye muktva hayan payitva upavrittan punaryuktva vasudevam prayatam tadanasham se vijayaya sanjaya. Yada srausham vividhan chitramargan gadayuddhe mandalaschatmam charantam Mithyahatam Vasudevasya Buddhya Tadanasham se Vijayaya Sanjaya. I came to know that on the battlefield, the Lord was helping Bhimasena. Children say, Amma foul. How can the Lord help Bhima to win against Duryodhana? The Lord asks Arjuna, clap on your thigh. And when he says clap on the thigh, Duryodhana has to be hit on the thigh, that is hitting below the belt. According to the rules of wrestling, you should not hit on the thigh. But there is a dharmic answer to it. There is a dharmic explanation for it. Forgive me for my candor, but I have to be like a camera which tells you what happened in the court. The court is a place of respect and honor. There is a certain way of behaving in the court. You cannot behave as you like. My dear devout listeners, Duryodhana sits on the throne and bares his thigh. Very indecent gesture. According to Indian ethics, the elder brother's wife is like a mother. We in India believe that the elder brother's wife is like a mother. If you can insult your mother, you can insult your bhabhi. You can insult your elder brother's wife. He bares his thigh and says, come and sit here. She says, by the thigh you die. That is the curse. That is the curse given by a pativrata called Draupadi. No wonder the Lord says, hit him there, because that is the gateway of sin. That is how he misbehaved, and he has to die like that. All is fair in love and war. Hit, Bhima, hit. When I heard that the Lord relaxed the rules of wrestling and made him hit on the thigh, my son, I knew that our end was coming. Yadashtrausham vividan chitramargan gadayuddhe mandalacharantam mithyahatam vasudevasya buddhya tada nashamse vijayaya sanjaya. I find everybody is passing away from our side. One by one they are dying. And I know death is coming. Now is the time in this chapter, the Prathama Adhyaya of the Adi Parva, that Sanjaya is listening to Dhritarashtra, opening his heart and mind and soul and talking about what is happening. I'll tell you what is happening. Kala supteshu jagarti, kalo hidurati kramaha, kala sarva bhuteshu, charati avadhikrita samaham, tatra putra duratmana, prataptascha manyuna, lubdha durvriti bhushta, nata chochumichami arhasi, vidvatbihi katyate loke purane kavi sattamai, sarvadbhir gunasampannaste chapi nidhanam gataha. Sanjaya is now consoling Dhritarashtra. Let me tell you, sir, good people have to die. Then why not bad sons like yours? They have to go. One day death will come to them. When good people have died, naturally death will come to your bad sons too. I am not making life or the evening grim for you. May all of you live for 100 years. But we do not know when death will come. The Mahabharata is preparing us for life and death. I used to tell my students, as a teacher of English, life is a sentence and death is a full stop. We have to plan the sentence. Why is it that you come to listen to the Mahabharata? Because we have 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All of us have 4 aspirations. Dharma, you know, is righteousness. Artha, you know, that is what you're earning. Kama, you know, is desire. Moksha is salvation. All of us have to give enough time for each purushartha. The Lord in the Ramayana tells Sugriva, please don't say you are a workaholic and forget your children, wife, everybody. No, don't do that. Give time for the family. Give time for work. Give time for holiday. And give time for Mahabharata too, my dear listeners. That is spending for the soul. This is what I call soul time. Soul time, S-O-U-L-S-O-L-E. I hope you understand. Please clap for the organizers who have organized the soul time. They took so much time to organize for soul time. It may be just a week, but your souls are charged because you start remembering that we are not immortal. In the Yaksha Prashna, the first Kaun Banega Karodpati quiz that took place in the world, Yaksha is asking questions of Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira says, please ask me, what is the next question? What's the most wonderful thing in the world, sir? Every day we see people dying and we think we are immortal. That is the most wonderful thing. That's the most wonderful thing. Practice the presence of death in life. Then we'll become self-conscious in the highest sense of the term. Don't put off any good work that you want to do. Tomorrow that person may not be there. We may not be there. Please remember that life is unpredictable. The Mahabharata says, anytime Mrityu can come. Anytime Mrityu can come. Kala supteshu jagarti. Kala is time. Time is awake when we are sleeping. Kalo hi duratikramaha. In the 11th chapter of the Gita, Arjuna is asking the Lord, who are you? The Lord doesn't say, I am Govinda, Gopala, Shiva, Narayana. No. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravruddho lokan samahartu viha pravritnaha My rival, B.R. Chopra, made a lovely selection for his introductory speeches. There is a silhouette. You see, one pencil drawing like person who sits there, and what does he say? Main samay hu. Give him a big hint. He is samay. He is time. Science has conquered space. Science has conquered the world. But science cannot conquer time, because time is God, my dear listeners. Time is God. We see watches every day, but we are not watchful. Time is passing. When I saw the second hand moving, I said, Pal pal beeta jaye, pal pal beeta jaye, pal pal beeta jaye. We are coming to the close of the lecture. समय जो बीत गया है बंधु वापस कभी न आए. समय जो बीत गया है बंधु वापस कभी न आए. पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए. पल पल ले ले हरि का नाम, पूर्ण होंगे तेरे काम.
पल पल ले ले हरि का नाम,
पूर्ण होंगे तेरे काम. पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए, पल पल बीता जाए. We cannot conquer time, because time in India is God. That is why the atheist, although he doesn't know, says, don't worry, good times are coming. Stupid fellow doesn't know that time and God are synonymous, my dear listeners. Time and God are synonymous. God can change time. Any bad time into good time he can change. Kalo hi duratikramaha. Nobody can conquer time. Nobody can conquer time. Kala sarve tu bhuteshu charati avidhrita samaha. He is equal to everybody. Bow down to that time. Kala moolam idam sarvam bhava bhavau sukha sukhe. All our sukha and dukkha, our birth and birthlessness, everything depends on Kala. When you see a watch, you're not scared. When you see time as a concept, you're scared. The last question in the Yaksha Prashna, Yudhishthira is asked, what is the breaking news? Aaj ki taja khabar. What is the latest news? And Yudhishthira says, in the cauldron of life, kadhai, in the cauldron of life, time is cooking us alive. What a terrible metaphor. Time is cooking. Pachati iti varta. That is it. We are being cooked alive in the cauldron of life. This is the fact of life. We are not aware that time is cooking us alive. The best way to spend time, the best way to conquer time is to listen to the glory of the Lord. My dear listeners, to listen to the glory of the Lord. We stop here because we start another chapter tomorrow. May the Lord fulfill all your dharmic desires. Please bless me as long as I live. Let me carry this message of faith and grace wherever I go. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvane Tirmatir Mama. A word of special thanks to the Indian Community School, Mr. Rajan Daniel in particular. Give him a big hand, please. Another acknowledgement to Sri Devi Malhotra ji and Srimati Usha Malhotra ji for their efficiency, their cooperation and sponsorship of our program. Please give them a big hand too. And the City International Exchange and Mr. Dalbera, please give them a big hand too. I'm sure we'll pray to Lord Krishna to make this tribe increase. May these good families grow from strength to strength, joy to joy, prosperity to prosperity, and may they continue to do this noble work which they've undertaken. With this, Narayana, 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 Narayana,
Narayana, Narayana,
Narayana, bolo, Narayana,
Narayana,
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवानीतिर्मतिर्मम. राधारमण मुकुन्द मुरारे शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम्. पवनपुरेश राधा कृष्ण शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम्. देवी महेश्वरि पार्वती शङ्करि शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम्. चोट्टाने करवाणुं देवी शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम्. राधारमण मुकुन्द मुरारे शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम्.
आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. गले में वैजंती माला, बजावे मुरली मधुर बाला. श्रवण में कुंडल झलकाला, नंद के नंद श्री आनंद कंद. मोहन ब्रिज चंद राधिका रमण बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. गगन सम अंग कांति काली, राधिका चमक रही आली. लतन में हाड़े वनमाली, भ्रमर सी अलक कस्तूरी तिलक. चंद्र से झलक ललित छवि श्यामा प्यारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की. त्वमेव माता च
पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च
सखा त्वमेव
विद्या
द्रविणं
त्वमेव सर्वं.
देव देव
कायेन वाचा
मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा
बुद्ध्यात्मना वा
ते स्वभावा
करोमि यद्यत्
सकलं परस्मै
नारायणायेति
समर्पयामि.
नारायणायेति.
समर्पयामि.
विना वेङ्कटेशं ननातो ननाथ सदा वेङ्कटेशं स्मरामि स्मरामि. हरे वेङ्कटेश प्रसीद प्रसीद. प्रियं वेङ्कटेश प्रयच्छ प्रयच्छ. अज्ञानिना मया दोषान् शेषान् विहितान् हरे क्षमस्वत्वं क्षमस्वत्वं. शेषशैलशिखामणे श्रियकान्ताय कल्याणनिधये निधयेऽर्थिनां. श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलं. मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्य पुरोगमै सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यै सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. Kindly receive prasadam from me in a row. Come in a queue, please.